Sensitivities.
See? We all agree once I spoke. I thank you for your
Well, time it.
It's perfect. That's my luckiest day. We lived in a house number 13 when I was a kid. My son was born on the 13th. He got married in 2013. Yeah. Here's your controller.
Oh, yes. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Unity. Did everybody get a heart on their way in?
Yes.
I have a feeling that's going to play into the talk today.
I think you didn't get hearts.
Oh, Laura, go around with the hearts. Some people need some hearts. My
Some-
name is, oops, sorry. Go ahead.
Extra hearts. They
Extra hearts.
Yes, they have hearts.
They do. The special little heart.
Yes. Yeah.
My name is Wendy Meyer, and it is my pleasure to be the platform assistant today. And let us start off with some songs with Dedry.
Good morning, everybody. Take a look at the person next to you. Come on now. Say, God loves you and I love you too. God loves you and I love you too. Now feel the love in the sanctuary. And lift your voice and sing with me. We come together, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. Find someone else. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you. I recognize the God in you. Now feel the love in the sanctuary. And lift your voices and sing with me. We come together. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, from every walk of life to every creed and color, in kinship we unite, in honor of the God in each other. Time, find someone else. Take a look at the person next to you. Come on, say namaste, I bow to you. Now feel the love in the sanctuary. And lift your voices and sing with me. We come together, we come together. We come together, we come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together, we come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In what? In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. Did you have a great Valentine's Day? Oh, wonderful. Well, we've got some joy that we're spreading around this morning, and some love too. I've got that joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. Where? I've got that joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart to stay. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Spirit in my heart. Yes, I'm so happy, of Spirit in my heart. I've got that love, 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 love down in my heart. Where? Where? I've got that love, 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 love down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart to stay. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Spirit in my heart. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Spirit in my heart. I've got the peace that passeth understanding down in my heart. Where? Where? I've got the peace that passeth understanding down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart to stay. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Spirit in my heart. Yes, I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Spirit in my heart. I've got that joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Where? I've got that joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where is it? Down in my heart to stay. And I'm so happy, come on, so very happy. I've got the love of Spirit in my heart. And I'm so happy, I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Spirit in my heart. Woo, amen to that. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of, is love. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of, is love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Peace. I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, I get the sweet release of peace. I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, it's get the sweet release of peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace.
That peaceful feeling. Join with me in consciousness as I speak this word in the first person, present tense and positive, recognizing there is only one thing going on here: love, spirit, the infinite field of pure potentiality, being me and absolutely everything in life. As I breathe it in and release all that no longer serves me, I feel the peace enveloping me, filling every cell of my being. For love is who I am. And I am a unique expression of the divine. I may look similar to someone else, but I am so very unique in ways that can't even be measured, because there is a part of me that is divine. And it's from this absolute, infinite place, this supported, benevolent place, that I live, breathe, and have my being. With a grateful heart filled with love, joy, peace, and all things good. I say thank you, thank you, thank you, as I feel it and recognize it and live it. I let go and I let it be so. Please join with me in saying, and so it is.
I start my day with joy. When I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused with joy. I start my day with joy. When I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused with joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. And I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy. And I feel that sweet release. I start my day with love. And I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy. I feel that sweet release. One more time. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy. And I feel that sweet release.
No.
Yep, I could hear you.
Now am I on?
Yes.
I'm on. Okay. Today's daily word is grace. I grow in God's grace. When a burden begins to feel lighter, when a happy moment becomes truly joyous, when the way through a frustrating challenge suddenly becomes clear, I know I'm experiencing grace. Unity minister and author Eric Butterworth explains grace this way. God's desire to express completely through you and as you is so great that you never completely reap the harvest of error, and you always reap more good than you sow. This is grace. Grace is God's gift, constantly available to everyone willing to receive it. I look to God alone as the source of my good. I discover the guiding, healing, prospering presence of God everywhere I go, in everything I do, and in everyone I meet. And from John chapter 1, verse 16, from his fullness we have all received grace upon grace. And our annual theme for Unity Worldwide Ministries is Perfect Vision in 2020, seen through a spiritual lens. And our monthly theme for February is All the Colors of Love. Possibility, imagination swings wide the gate of possibility. And we'll sing one more song, and then Anne, Reverend Anne, is going to be speaking about love, and I think today it's a steamy topic, if I'm right. So let's join in the song.
I'm going to need your help with this one. Choking on my water. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. The corn is as high as an elephant's eye, and it looks like it's climbing clear up to the sky. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a wonderful feeling. Everything's going my way. All the cattle are standing like statues. All the cattle are standing like statues. They don't turn their heads as they see me ride by. But the little brown maverick is winking her eyes. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I got a wonderful feeling. Everything's going my way. Oh, the sounds of the earth are like music. Oh, the sounds of the earth are like music. The breeze is so busy, I don't miss a tree. And that whipping willow is laughing at me. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I got a wonderful feeling. Everything's going my way. Oh, what a beautiful day.
I'll take the controller. Thank you. Sorry about that. Hi, everybody. I'm Reverend Ann, and I'm the spiritual director here, and it's my absolute delight to be here, and the sun is shining. Yahoo! So yes, a steamy topic today. We're talking all month about all of the colors of love, and today we're going to speak about sacred sexuality. And ooh, they say don't speak about sex and all that stuff at church. But I think you'll like what I have to say today. So the theme is pleasure is a primary quality of the oneness spirit that should be embraced in all its forms. Pleasure is a practice of mindfulness as well as an action of creation. And I don't know about you, but there was many a time as I was growing up that the idea of pleasure seemed to be a bad thing, pursuing one's own pleasure. And so I had some really interesting times this week thinking about that whole idea. And the conclusion I came to was, if the pleasure is strictly about me, then I'm fully responsible for that. If the pleasure includes someone else, then it needs to be a collaborative effort. And when it is, it's sacred. And that's really the bottom line. So our affirmation, I embrace my pleasure today. You want to say that with me? I embrace my pleasure today. So we're talking about what is pleasure, a little bit about sexual energy, and pleasure as a spiritual practice. So what is pleasure? What does it depend on? Any ideas? Candy. Candy? It's definitely a pleasure, and I know there's a few in the room that would say chocolate.
Chocolate, yes.
Because it creates something in our bodies, like an endorphin or whatever it is that happens, but that we are naturally hardwired to feel this. You can't conjure it up. It just happens as a consequence of either your interaction with another person or your interaction with a stimulus like chocolate, right? So it is actually one of our powers. We talk in Unity about 12 powers. I think we have 13. And the 13th is pleasure. I'd like to show you a cute video, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. It's the lip balm test. We might need volume, but we'll see how it goes.
This is the venue they chose for their fake auditions for an advert for lip balm.
We're hoping that we can use part of this in a national commercial, right? And this is a test on some lip balms that we have over here.
Okay.
And these are our models who are going to help us, Roger and Matt.
Okay.
And we have our own lip balm, and we have a leading brand.
Okay.
Would you have any problem kissing our models to test? No. You think that was fine?
That would be fine.
Okay. So that this is a blind test, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and put a blindfold on. Okay, now can you see anything?
No.
Hold it so you can't even see down. It's completely blind now, right? Okay. Now, what I'm going to be looking for in this test is how something makes your lips, okay, the texture, right, and maybe if you can discern any flavor or not. Okay. Have you ever done a kissing test before? Okay, so take one step in. Okay, now I'm going to ask you to pucker up big, and lean in just a little bit, okay? All right? Okay. And Jennifer, how did that feel?
That was better than any joke I could come up with, wasn't it? And you know, the interesting thing is that sometimes the pleasure is a surprise, and when we open our eyes and see what it actually is, it's a contradiction, isn't it? And so I'm not just going to say anything else about that. The definition of pleasure is a feeling of happy satisfaction and enjoyment. So how do you identify? The latest thing going on with email and that sort of communication is that people in government especially are being asked to put how they're identifying as part of their tag at the end. So I put mine into my email as well, and it says Reverend Anna Haukangas, and then in brackets, she, her. Because there is this real trend that in spite of the fact that I look like a woman and that I look like I'm heterosexual, perhaps I identify as he and him, or they and them. And Jackie and I were actually talking about this, and in her workplace, they are being taught to call someone by their first name rather than she or he, because it might be offensive. And it's really interesting that certainly I think sometimes we can take these things to the nth degree, and why don't we just appreciate each other as people rather than the identification of your skin is brown, or you know, my friend the doctor, or my Chinese friend, or my female friend, or my male friend, or my gay friend, or why is it that we need to identify? And I think it's just a habit that we've gotten into. It's not so much that we're name dropping or saying one is better than the other. Some people do, but it's more the idea that can we live our life without identifying everyone in that way? So I invite you this week as you move through your week and see how often you catch yourself with your own lens, noticing that you're identifying someone as something perhaps they're not. Just an idea.
Till recently, I didn't have a word for what I felt like on the inside. I let people assume. I didn't want to make anyone else feel uncomfortable, but that just made me feel worse. You know, I hate labels, and here I am trying to give myself one.
Well, look, obviously, I understand biology. There are more than two sexes. I don't understand all the layers of identity, but I do know fundamentally that not living one's truth is detrimental to your psyche.
And I don't want to do that to myself anymore. This accident made it very clear that tomorrow is not a guarantee, and I need to be me. I'm getting closer every day to exactly what that is. But for now, I know I'm not all woman.
Thank you for trusting me with that. It must have been very difficult to live with that for so long.
And thank you. I had no idea how badly I needed to say that to someone. Wish I knew it was going to be this easy with Genevieve.
You don't have to tell her until you're ready.
Oh, yeah, but what if she rejects me?
Bishop, you are remarkable. I mean it. If Genevieve rejects you, she didn't deserve you in the first place.
If you don't want to talk to us, can you maybe give us your name?
That was from a new show that's out called Deputy. And I find it really fabulous that our television shows today really talk about social issues in ways that are really gentle to allow us to start to see things in a different way and think about what we each believe about that. When I was in my I guess it would have been in my early 30s, my son was 2 years old. He was born when I was 28. And I had a female doctor who was very, very progressive and traveled the world with her husband occasionally. He was Doctors Without Borders, so she had seen a lot in her life. And she had a little girl that was probably about 10 years old at that point. And I went to her and I said, my son wants to try on a pair of leotards. And he was 2. And I didn't know what to do with that. I wasn't appalled by it, but I was really questioning, how do I handle that? Because I want to be as open a parent as I can possibly be. And she chuckled and said, well, I have a whole pile of dresses too that are about that size if you want to borrow them and he can try them on. And I said, well, no, he's only asked for leotards. So perhaps I'll go out and shop with him and buy a pair and he can try them. So that was fine, and I knew that the dresses were there if he wanted to go the next step. And we went to the store, and he picked out a pair of white leotards with pink hearts on them. And he put them on, and he stood in front of the mirror in the bedroom, and he looked at himself and went, nope, took them off, and that was the last time that he did that. But it was really fascinating that on some level, I felt guided to just be open enough to let him explore that without infringing my own judgments or ideas or any of that. And so how often do we get that opportunity, perhaps, just even with adults, to give that safe space to explore and to be? And I look back and I'm just really happy that I followed my guidance and I asked for that information, and we followed through. And I think today, how could he have been different if I hadn't done that? How much more of a struggle might life have been? And was really grateful about that too. When I was in my early years in school, they basically explained, because this is what they knew at the time, that a gay person, a man that was gay, it had to do with XY chromosomes, and it just wasn't possible for a woman to have the conflict in the chromosomes, that a woman chose to be gay and that a man came by it biologically, that because of the chromosomes. And what they've since discovered is there is so much more in biology that they don't even have the equipment to be able to look to see why is it that someone is attracted or wants to live a certain way. But I believe that it is in our biology, it's in our chromosomes, it's in our DNA, and that every one of us actually doesn't totally fit into any kind of box. And then depending on the lifestyle that we have, the influence of our family, our culture, and all of that allows us to either be free to explore that or to squelch it, and perhaps only once we're adults to start to explore it and talk about it. And it's just food for you to think about as you encounter people in life. So our society has an unhealthy relationship with the idea of pleasure, causing us to both repress our natural pleasure and seek it out, causing feelings of shame and guilt. How about allowing ourselves to feel our pleasure? And as I was thinking about this, I was thinking about some of the people like pedophiles, for instance, and people who rape and that sort of negative behavior, and wonder if they had been allowed to completely be who they were as they were a young child, would they still be behaving that way as an adult? Like someone said to me, well, I don't think that you grow up to be someone who wants to have your gender changed, that you see and hear about it when they're little children. And I tried to relate to it myself, and the only thing I could come up with, and maybe some of you can relate to this, I look in the mirror and I see this wrinkled face and I go, that's not who I am inside. And so is that how a child who maybe identifies as a female feels in a male body? That they look in the mirror, or they look at themselves and say, this isn't who I am on the inside, and have this need to change it. So I don't have the answer for that. All I know is, like I said, I can relate to the idea that who on the outside is presenting is not who I am on the inside. It's like, where did she go? So God has imparted our life to us, placing no limitation or condition that would restrict us other than this. Our life must be lived constructively, in unity and love and sympathy with everything around us, if we expect to live it to the fullest. I believe that every person is born to be creative and to live the fullest and to be happy and glad and prosperous and whole. And this was from Ernest Holmes. And so as you move forward in life and you encounter different identities, and maybe even an identity within you that's calling to be heard, to be seen, to just do it with love and compassion, and to recognize that the sacredness of our sexuality, if we want someone else to join in on that, is not to force it on someone, force someone to like us because we're a certain way or whatever that is, but that it's a collaborative effort. It comes from a place of love and compassion. So sexual energy. Sexual energy is our life force, our creative energy. I don't know about you, but think of the times in your life when you were at the stage of the game where you had tremendous sexual energy, and maybe you still do. Good for you. Mine went with menopause. But the interesting thing is that I can't conjure that up. Like, I couldn't conjure it up even when it was happening on its own. It is a natural part of who we are. And to say that's negative and bad is to say that there are parts of life that are not fundamentally good. And one of the things that we really look at here, it's the first principle of life and principle of unity, is that God is good all the time, and that therefore we are good all the time. And the only time that it might not appear to be good is when we're not honoring everyone else that's in our lives, when we're imposing something on someone else, or our behavior is something other than the best. Do it to yourself, by yourself, well, then that's your business. But whenever anyone else is involved, it's an important thing. So I have a blank. There we go. Everything is an aspect of God and Spirit, and we're each part of God. And to remember that there's nothing to judge there. And if you're judging, remember that this pointing the finger at somebody, there's 3 fingers pointing back, hey? So there is something within each of us when we're feeling the need to point to judge, to look at inside. I had someone say to me at a class we had this week, you don't want me to live an unexamined life. I said, absolutely. Because as we examine our own reactions to life, life gets better. Our bodies and our desires are also part of God. The body is perfect the way that it is. Its ability to feel pleasure and desire and to enjoy pleasure is a part of God. Number 13, right? Therefore, sexual energy cannot be bad, but rather something to be celebrated and embraced. Sexual energy is focused life force energy and is a wonderful way to feel fully alive and embrace our creativity. You can't force yourself to be something that you're not, at least without consequences. I know some of you have tried to fit in at some time in your life. And sometimes it works, but most of the time, isn't there a part that's screaming, saying, hey, this just doesn't feel good. This just isn't right. Pleasure gives you clarity. It refreshes and rejuvenates. It keeps you ahead of the curve. Pleasure sends you on a wonderful journey, and you always arrive at your destination ahead of schedule. And isn't that the truth? And that's probably why you see such obsessive compulsive behaviors with a lot of people in stressful times, because they're seeking that pleasure to try and find that balance, to try and just get some equilibrium. And it doesn't always work when you're trying to force it, does it? Pleasure as a spiritual practice. What's my guilty pleasure? The thing is, I never feel guilty about pleasures, says Tom. Embrace pleasure in all areas of your life. And if there are parts of your life that don't seem to have pleasure, what you gonna do about it? Are there any areas that you have shied away from feeling pleasure or have felt shame or guilt because of your pleasure? Sometimes that extra piece of chocolate. If you find that you have guilt or shame, see if those feelings are necessary or if you're only perpetuating ideas that you've been taught. Release the need to feel guilty for experiencing your pleasure. And for a little laugh, I have 5 minutes of the difference between men's brains and women's brains. And I'm going to precursor this with the idea that, can we really define men and women biologically or physiologically this clearly? Or because of all these different ways of identifying, does it mix? So I want you to think about that as you're watching this.
We're going to start discussing men's brains, women's brains, and how they're very different from each other. Now, I want to start with men's brains. All right? Now, men's brains are very unique. Men's brains are made up of little boxes. And we have a box for everything. We've got a box for the car. We've got a box for the money. We've got a box for the job. We got a box for you. We got a box for the kids. We got a box for your mother somewhere in the basement. We got boxes everywhere. And the rule is, the boxes don't touch. When a man discusses a particular subject, we go to that particular box, we pull that box out, we open the box, we discuss only what is in that box. All right? And then we close the box and put it away, being very, very careful not to touch any other boxes. Now, women's brains are very, very different from men's brains. Women's brains are made up of a big ball of wire. And everything is connected to everything. The money's connected to the car, and the car's connected to your job, and your kids are connected to your mother, and everything's connected to everything. And it's like... It's like the internet superhighway, okay? And it's all driven by energy that we call emotion. It's just, it's one of the reasons why women tend to remember everything. Because if you take an event and you connect it to an emotion, it burns in your memory and you can remember it forever. The same thing happens for men. It just doesn't happen very often because, quite frankly, we don't care. Women tend to care about everything. And she just loves it. Okay? Now, men, we have a box in our brain that most women are not aware of. This particular box has nothing in it. In fact, we call it the nothing box. And of all the boxes a man has in his brain, the nothing box is our favorite box. If a man has a chance, he'll go to his nothing box every time. That's why a man can do something seemingly completely brain dead for hours on end. You know, like fishing. Now, they've actually measured this. The University of Pennsylvania a couple of years ago did a study and discovered that men have the ability to think about absolutely nothing and still breathe. You know, they connected all the wires and stuff like that and watched their brain activity, then all of a sudden, I think he's dead. Huh? You know, women can't do it. They can't do it. Their minds never stop. And they don't understand the nothing box. And it drives them crazy. Because nothing drives a woman more crazy or makes her feel more irritated than to witness a man doing nothing.
So what do you think about sacred sexuality now? So you are physiologically a man or a woman. That means some aspects are predictable. Who you are attracted to is a complex biology, still being researched and discovered. How you identify and feel is unique to you. Seek out and engage in everyday activities that make you feel happiness, joy, pleasure, knowing that by doing so, you're practicing mindfulness and revealing God and Spirit. So affirmation, say this with me if that's comfortable. I embrace my identity and pleasure today. Who and what I am is a unique gift from the Creator. And so it is.
And now is our time of conscious giving. So if you want to hold your gifts in your hands and put some love into them, and repeat with me the affirmation that's on the screen. From the love of pure spirit in me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It is evidence of my faith. It does great work in the world, and it returns to me multiplied abundantly. You get to sing. Yes?
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Oh, fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the trees, that's how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Dragonflies out in the sun, you know what I mean, don't you know? Butterflies all having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace when day is done, that's what I mean. And this whole world is a bold world and a new world. One of my favorite pleasurable things to do is dancing. Are you feeling good? Say yes. Yeah. Are you feeling good? Yeah. Stars when you shine, that's what I feel, don't you know? Scent of pine, you know how I feel. Freedom is mine, that's what I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. Ooh, it's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Are you feeling good? Oh, we're feeling good. What about you, Reverend? Oh, yeah. I'm feeling good. Thank you. Woo!
I think Dedry was channeling her Michael Bublé there. That was awesome. Thank you so much.
This part is not in the service any longer.
Yes, it's not.
No, it isn't. So please have a seat. Somebody lied to you.
Well, while they're deciding where they're going to sit, why don't we thank Reverend Anna Hokangas for another wonderful message? And you always make me feel and think. I always leave here with some thoughts for the week. So thank you. So I'll give her a thank you. Now it says on here that I'm supposed to do announcements, but there are none. So we'll pass that one. If you have something that you'd like to pray for, there are little papers on the back of the chairs in front of you. And you can write down your prayer request. That could be something that's troubling you, something that you're happy about, something you want to celebrate, anything that you think prayer would be helpful. Please fill it out and put it in the prayer box, which I see is over here now in the corner. And it will be prayed over for 30 days here. And then after that, it goes to Unity Village for some more powerful prayer. And I think it's time for us to stand and hold the hand of someone next to you. We're on the love train, maybe? I don't know. Oh, we have a closing affirmation, too. Awesome.
This
So let's.
is our closing prayer.
Okay. Oh.
So stand, hold hands, the people on both sides of you. And let's say this together. I am at home in the heart of God. I am at home in the heart of the beloved. My life is anchored in truth. I can never be separate. I live in the consciousness of peace. I release all fear. I am living love, and so it is. Yes.
Join hands, start a love train, love train. People all over the world, join hands, start a love train, love train. The next stop we make will be soon. Tell all the folks in Russia and China too. We're sending them love. Don't you know that it's time to get on board and let this train keep on riding, riding on through. Come on, everybody, let's get on board. People all over the world, join hands, start a love train, love train. People all over the world, join hands, start a love train, love train. All of your brothers over in Africa, tell all the folks in Egypt and Israel too. Please don't miss the strain at the station, 'cause if you miss it, I feel sorry, sorry for you. Come on, let's get on board. People all over the world, join hands, start a love train, love train. People all over the world, join hands, start a love train, love train. Let it ride, let it ride. Give someone's hand a little squeeze. Let it ride, let it ride. Ooh. People all over the world, join hands, start a love train, love train. People all over the world, join hands, start a love train, love train. People all over the world, join hands, start a love train, love train. And all the people say, amen. Have a wonderful week.
And please join us for goodies and coffee and tea in the fellowship room.